What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into DLF YouTube. I am your host, Justin Wright. Today, we are talking two potential breakout wide receivers that you need to go and acquire in Dynasty. Two guys that I think right now is the floor of their value for the next couple of seasons, and this is the time to get in. So before we get into it, again, guys, if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to the channel, like the video, questions, comments, all that good stuff. Drop it below in the comment section, and Addison's going to get back to you. Let's get into it. Number one on the list, and if you follow me on Twitter, you know it. It is Elijah Moore. We all knew they were going to add a wideout early. As soon as they did, we all knew his value was going to drop. Although nothing has really changed with Elijah Moore, the player. And when you're playing Dynasty, the idea is to buy talent and deal with situation later, because good players will overcome, quote unquote, poor situations. That's exactly what Elijah Moore is about to do. Last season, from the bye week on, Elijah Moore averaged 17.7 points per game. That is with four different quarterbacks. Mike White, the superstar Mike White, the elite quarterback in Joe Flacco, the CFL quarterback in Josh Johnson, and then Zach Wilson, right? Those four quarterbacks were able to support Elijah Moore for 17.7 points a game. That was on 62% of snaps. He wasn't even a full-time player because he was coming back from injury. So he wasn't even out there the entire time, and he still was able to just absolutely dominate for fantasy. You're looking at a guy that commanded a 20.6% target share, over 8 targets a game in that stretch. That's weeks 7 to 13 before he got hurt, right? So you're looking at a guy that is having a monumental target rate, an insanely high target share for a rookie coming off of injury, and a player now that gets a second year of chemistry with his rookie quarterback, or now sophomore quarterback. Everything is pointing up as far as, chemistry. The talent is clear. I mean, really the only negative is Garrett Wilson. And yes, they spent a high pick on Garrett Wilson. But the thing is, that does not mean Elijah Moore is about to, fall off the map. And that's kind of how he's been treated, right? He topped out at wide receiver 16 in DLF's ADP this offseason. And now he is down to wide receiver 28. Clearly, everybody, the entire Dynasty community, we all agreed he was a top 20, borderline top 15 Dynasty wide receiver. Nothing has changed, right? In a situation, I don't care. Elijah Moore is still, a top 15, borderline top 15 talent. All that happened is now there's an actual second wide receiver opposite him, right? Those two are going to dominate, for that team for a long time. I'm not worried about a Corey Davis. Jamison Crowder is gone. Braxton Berrios. It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. This is where people are overthinking, the 1 year situation, as if we did not just see T. Higgins dip in value because they drafted Jamar Chase, and then go out and also still have a great season while Jamar Chase was very good, right? Even if Garrett Wilson is a superstar, that does not eliminate Elijah Moore from contention of a top 20 wide receiver season or, exceeding what he did last year. It's not binary. It's not yes or no. It's not one or the other. It very well could be both. Buy the dip right now on Elijah Moore. It's the smart thing to do. Again, you're looking at this year's different type of player, but this year's value-wise, T. Higgins. That is what I think you're getting. And again, as a guy, I'm happy to give up, if you haven't had a rookie draft yet, basically, 106, 107, I'll give that up for Elijah Moore. I don't really care. Again, if it's super flex, and you're talking 2023 picks, different story. But for now, that's what the price is, or it should be. Moving on to number 2, we have another wide receiver, but a guy who has not taken a snap in the NFL yet. It is Chris Olave. Right now, he is being drafted as the wide receiver 29, obviously up since the NFL draft because he landed in a pretty good spot, right? He lands with Jameis Winston, who is, not the best quarterback, but can certainly support good fantasy wide receivers. Right now, it looks as if Chris Olave is going to be the lead wide receiver. Michael Thomas has still not gotten back from injury. It is 2 years later. At this point, I think it's safe to assume it's not an injury. He just doesn't want to play for the Saints. They think he hates the team. The most likely outcome is probably he's not even on the team to start the season, and they go in with Jarvis Landry, and they go in with Chris Olave. Now, we've watched Jameis for several years, right? Both in New Orleans and Tampa. We know the type of guys he likes to target. It is not Jarvis Landry, right? Those underneath kind of dump off routes to an aging slot wide receiver is probably not where Jameis is going with the ball. He wants to go outside, whether that's Marquez Callaway or Chris Olave, the real number one on the outside. I think he is set up for success in this offense, right? You're looking at a guy that got first-round draft capital. They traded up to go and get him. He is clearly, a key part of this offense moving forward, and I think they paired him with Jameis for a reason. He plays to Jameis's strengths, right? When you look at, Mike Evans, who, again, very different wide receiver from Chris Olave, but still the number one on the outside for Jameis in Tampa. When you look at, his usage, I think you can expect something, a lesser version of this, but still great for Chris Olave. Evans, over his last couple of seasons with Jameis, a 25% target share, over 17 points a game in fantasy, and 138 air yards. That's the most intriguing piece. The upside, the ceiling is sky high because of the role he's probably going to play in this offense. Right? Chris Olave can do it all over the field, but we know he can stretch the field and he can burn. Right? That is not going to be a question. That fits to Jameis's skill set. Again, he's not Mike Evans, completely different wide receivers. But it's worth looking at what Jameis does when he has a true number one on the outside, and I think that's what we're about to see with Chris Olave. Again, he's going right behind Elijah Moore, and which makes sense because the 107, the 106 is where you're getting Chris Olave usually. So price stays the same there. Again, give up guys, give up 20-23 seconds and some second-year wide receivers that people like for Chris Olave, and move on. Take the money and run. I think come this time next year, Chris Olave has separated himself from this group of wide receiver 28, 29, and he's inside the top 20 wide receivers. Alrighty, that is all I have for you. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.